Thank you.
Thank you. I have not watched the news.
Hey, Johnny, it's Stan.
Hey, Stan.
Observing tonight, I think what we're seeing in this day is that we've got people like yourself and I think myself too that are standing up against what you call organized religion. And I think the people that are calling in are sincerely looking for answers, because they want to know what the Bible says. But I've been thinking about why the preachers aren't calling in. Because number one, if you're a preacher, if you have to admit that you're wrong, that takes a man to do that. And then number two, if you begin to walk in the truth, I believe what happens is pastors realize they're going to lose their job. They can lose their pension, they can lose their place, and lose everything. And there's a cost to this thing. And I think a lot of people don't realize that when you begin to preach the true gospel, there is a cost, and it might mean you have to lose, your job in something like that. And I think it's kind of interesting that the pastors don't ever call in.
Well, too, Stan, they may think, like for instance, that since we buy the airtime and people help us pay for it and what have you, that we don't suffer those same obstacles. When I was down in Texas, the first night of the preaching that I did down there, a gentleman came in and he has done nothing but cause a fuss over the kind of preaching that I was doing and that he found out that I do up here. And it is like you say, and I know you've experienced this too, if you're going to stand up for the truth, it's going to be difficult. People are going to try to, if they can have power, they're going to try to get you fired. They're going to try to get you off the air if it happens to be air. If you happen to be in a local congregation, they'll try to cause a faction, friction, fuss, and undermine you. And you're right. The pastors, I think they are in a time frame where they like to enjoy being, touch not my anointed.
Well, that's a silly doctrine, and we know that that's a false teaching when you start talking about not touching God's anointed, when the scriptures teach that the preachers are to be subject to the preachers and are subject to accountability just like anybody else is. And I think putting a pastor or a preacher up on a pedestal and not allowing them to be accountable is a sad story. And I just say keep up confronting the church, because we need the message of confrontation to keep going to confront these religious spirits. The spirit of the Pharisee and Sadducee is still alive and well today. And it's not a popular thing to come against it, but it has to be done. And just because people get upset about it, sometimes that's good. Getting upset can be a good thing, as it causes us to have to reevaluate what we believe. And then when we get into the argument, if we don't know what we believe, we're going to find out real quick. We're going to make a fool of ourselves. And that's what happens. But that's the good thing. People that are calling in, when they get embarrassed, they realize they don't have an answer. That's a good thing, because now that's God telling them they need to go back and restudy it and see it for themselves. So,
and let's ask that question again. Where are the pastors?
Where are the pastors?
Yeah.
Why don't they have the guts to stand up and speak against what it is that you believe or what I believe or what we're saying? Because I don't believe they're there. I just don't think they have the guts to do it.
Well, I'll tell you what, up at Blackwell Dodge, it looked like the Sonic tonight. The people were just going in and turning around in Blackwell Dodge parking lot. And, I don't know, I have no idea really what people were expecting to see, because all we're doing up there is, we're singing praises, simply singing praises, and preaching the Word, having a lesson that is designed, to help people investigate what they've been being taught. I don't know if people are expecting to see us rolling in the floor and handling snakes or whatever. Do you have a background stand of what people think in this area? Because you've been around here a lot longer than I have, of what people think about the Church of Christ historically. Is it a mystery, or is it just maybe that they were just coming out just to be a distraction?
I don't know. I think a lot of times people are curious. I think a lot of times people, when they hear someone coming in on a broadcast, such as this, where people are, beginning to say, what does the Bible really say, and challenge religion, I think a lot of times they have preconceptions of what people believe or what they don't believe. And I think people are searching today, and they're looking, and they might be a little scared. Maybe they're pulling up, and maybe they want to come in, maybe they want to hear, but maybe they're afraid I don't know, but I think it's a stirring myself and God's people today. I was speaking about this last night, is that people are beginning to see there's something wrong. People are beginning to see in the churches that something isn't right. And I believe that they're going to start coming out more and more out of these churches, because they're going to realize that the Spirit of God and the power of God and the gospel is really not being preached. And when they're being challenged, they're like the Pharisees and Sadducees. The only way they know how to respond is to pick up stones and throw them at you, because they don't have answers.
Yeah, boy, that was sobering. I hadn't thought about that in a while. And I appreciate that, Stan. Are you? Is there any possibility of your airtime coming around over on the station here on Sunday night?
I haven't talked to Charles yet about it. I haven't had time to talk to him. I know we had, discussed possibly my program coming in right before yours on Sunday evening, but I think it would, it might be a good compliment to each other to possibly look into that and to see if there's something that can be worked out. But, it just astounds me that it's particularly since I had a Baptist background, that the Baptists won't stand up for what they believe in, because I've never thought the Baptists were ashamed of the fact that you're supposed to be Baptist. Maybe when I was there, I was a weird one or something, but I've always believed, that baptism was a part of the process of salvation. And for the Baptists to say that it's not, it almost goes against their name.
That's the amazing part. Yes, that right there. I mean, that is just so glaring to me. Man, I appreciate you putting that out there tonight.
Yeah, but anyway, I just think somebody's got to confront this, and maybe they don't like the messenger, but as Christ came and confronted the Pharisees and the Sadducees, somebody's got to confront it, and and we have to tell the truth. And as somebody said earlier, the truth will set you free, but sometimes the truth will get you upset.
Oh yeah.
And,
Right.
And
what are you doing?
I encourage people when they get upset, they just have to go to their Bible and study it. And
well, that's what the gentleman I was told earlier, that I had a Bible study with a gentleman today who really wasn't necessarily friendly towards me in the beginning. He was in the study, but I'm talking about previously in the past few weeks. And man, he had a notebook full of stuff, Stan, that he had been studying. Hey, that's my goal. I mean, I couldn't have been happier when I saw the man had his Bible out, and he was trying to find answers. He was going to try to answer me in the sense of prove me wrong, but that's okay. He's studying. And I just don't think the pastors have the people studying, and that's all I want. I wish people could really realize I don't want them over in Johnny Robertson's church. I want them all to come to a knowledge of the Bible and to study and find their way closer to God. And if I can participate in that, I am happy. I've done my job. And I think finally, if we all get in there deep enough, that we will start getting closer, just like you hear that guy call about the rapture a while ago, or 1 Thessalonians 4. And it was a great call, and I think he was looking for somebody to say something different than all this dispensationalism that he's been hearing, that puts every little thing that happens making us think we're at the end of the world, when, Jesus said no one knows when the end is. So, well, Stan, I got 1 minute.
Right.
I got to go, man.
Okay, man.
All right, good to hear from you. I'm enjoying the tent, but I'm missing getting to talk to you. I'll talk to you.
Man.
Talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.